and welcome to another episode of Off the Leash, episode 78, brought to you by the Racing Post in association with Premier Greyhound Racing, and another jam-packed show. We're going to look back at the big racing, huge races last week. We've got two big finals on Friday night at Greyhound Racing's newest track at Dunstall Park. Tony Bullen, as ever, joins us. Good form from you last week, Tony. Plenty of winners. You obviously put up New Destiny at the start of the Champion Stakes, and she did the business, and the nap in the back of the net as well. So we find you in good form. Yeah,
we had a good weekend, and the other darts hit the target in the Kent Derby and Steel City Cup. So yeah, it was a good weekend. Obviously, it was great racing. So the best dogs won on the night, and that's all you wanted to see, really.
Lovely. And you sound a little bit croaky, mate. You're just telling us you was in quizzing last night.
Yeah, well, the brain cells, there ain't many that are still active, so I used quite a few of them last night, so my tips might not be as good this week, Dave.
No, you're in good form. Listen, it'd be dangerous territory if I was to ask you what you called your team name, so let's not go there. Do get involved with us here on the Racing Post YouTube channel. Massive week of action, whether you like your football, your dog racing, horse racing, in particular the horse racing, because we've got the big jump off as well. If you like your jumps racing, it's all kicking off this week, and you can find all the experts in the video on the Racing Post YouTube channel. So do get involved with us. Like, comment, subscribe. Make sure you hit that notification bell as well. So when we upload, you will know, so you won't miss any of our fantastic content. Right, what's coming up on this week's show? We're going to look back as ever before we look forward. We'll go in chronological order as well. Friday night at Romford, there was £20,000 up for grabs in the Premier Greyhound Racing Champion Stakes final. I've already given away who won that. Tony tipping the winner, anti-post. Then we'll jump to Saturday night, one of the biggies, the Premier Greyhound Racing Kent Derby final at Central Park. That was a brilliant final and a brilliant winner there. And then we'll go to Sheffield on Sunday as well for the £11,500 Bresbet Steel City Cup, and a quite aptly named winner of that one. Then we'll look forward to the Scurry final and the Oaks final, one of the biggest races of the year, the Bitches Classic, and the first big race ever to be staged at Dunstall Park. So we'll pick Tony's brains as well on what is made of the open racing at Dunstall Park so far. Right, let's jump straight into it then. Friday night at Romford, 575 metres. It was a really good final, this one, Tony. And of course, all eyes on the red jacket on the inside, the defending champion, New Destiny. She had the draw and she used the draw here. And it was a little bit of teamwork here, because the Coronation Cup winner and her kennel mate, Fabulous Sonique, banged out a trap 3. She just followed her around and gobbled her up coming home. Third was Gary the Arb in trap 2. So 1-3-2, 35-42.
Yeah, all eyes really probably on the 6th dog, the Tiffield dog, because he was expecting him to flash out the boxes, as he'd been impressive in previous outings, but his chance was gone as soon as the traps opened. He wasn't in the front rank, and Fabulous Sonique, she looked at one stage that she was going to obviously add another trophy to the cabinet, but this is the beauty with New Destiny, Dave. When she's given a bit of freedom and got daylight, you know how well she stays. She covers the ground. I mean, and to fetch in Fabulous Sonique, I do think sometimes Fabulous Sonique does get a little bit lonely up front, but you've got to take you out of to New Destiny. She just whittled down the advantage, whittled it down, and she just produces on the big occasion time and time again.
Yeah, listen, it's no fluke that Mark Wallace is the 15 times champion trainer. He's landed 100 Cat 1s as well, which are these big events. But for a Greyhound to win 5 of them on her own is absolutely sensational. And I said to Mark on the night, when you're going out and trying to source these dogs, buy these dogs, train these dogs, even breed them if that's what you're trying to do, this is what you're looking for, a multiple Cat 1 winner. The dog of a lifetime, really, for most. Imperial Kennels have handled many champions, but if this bitch was in any other kennel, she'd be put on a mantle as, one of the greatest ever.
Yeah, and the thing you've got to take into account, she's won good competitions. There've been good renewals. Like, there's certain competitions that have been out there recently where they're just so one-sided. This was a great renewal. I mean, the final was a tremendous final. So they're not just hand-picking these races and they're a given. She's having to beat good opposition.
And what was frightening is I went back and looked at just sort of her career, really. And, it weren't straightforward at the start. She was lining up in a lot of competitions as the anti-post favourite, going out in the first round, going out in the semi-final. So for her to have won 5 is remarkable.
Yeah, indeed. As I say, I think when she first arrived on the scene, everyone was like, it's only going to be a case of when. And she did suffer a few setbacks, but she always had the stamp of being a stayer, didn't she, Dave? And that's where she's really blossomed.
Yeah, brilliant performance there. And a 1-2 for the kennel. So well done to all involved, Mark Wallace and the MWD partnership. Right, let's move forward then to Saturday night. And of course, the Kent Derby is the biggest race of the year at Central Park, formerly known as Sittingbourne, of course. And I think we'll look back on this race, Tony, as what a great race it was. I think the form will probably get better as time goes on. We had Headford Dane in there already, a dual cap 1 winner. Bombay Pat, all eyes was on the stripes, of course, as a Derby finalist. Romeo Tomcat did go on to score at a trap 4, Yorkshire Derby and Kent Plate winner. I think Texas Jack's going to be a top-class performer for time to come. And I mentioned Headford Dane, who finished 3rd here. So 4-5-3, the winning order, 28.75. And this dog, as Patrick Jansen's his trainer, has always held him in high regard. If he can be consistent out the boxes, he's a monster coming home. He's going to be a real handful wherever he goes.
Yeah, and that was the reason I sort of went with him in the end, because I think you had a couple of outs with him. He could go toe-to-toe with the early pace types, and he could also come from just off the pace. And when he struck the front, he was always going to be a difficult dog to pass. Texas Jack, connections must be cock a hoop. I know he hasn't won the race, but he'd give it his best shot to try and pass Romeo Tomcat for the whole distance. Again, Bombay Pat, traps open, race over for Bombay Pat. He needed to look sprightly at the boxes. Headford Dane, even finishing in 3rd, ran a credible race. But this Romeo Tomcat, he's really started to bring consistency to his game. Another one, when he was a pup, he suffered a little bit of a couple of shock reversals, but now he's really manned up. The boy's become a man, and he's just taking him to any track. That's the beauty of some dogs, Dave. You can put them in the van and know that they're going to adapt to any circuit.
Yeah, and listen, we'll get onto the Steel City Cup, because if you're following the sport, you already know what happened there. But a word on Dave Firmiger as an owner and a breeder, with his Romeos and his fabulous prefix, just churning out superstar after superstar. Much has been said about the kings and queens of Liz and Rad McNair, but the Romeos and the fabulous bitches of Dave Firmiger are right up there, and for some time as well now.
Yeah, and in recent times, there've been very good crops of pup. Dave's always had an above average type. He even trained his own dogs at one time, but in the modern day era, it's just conveyor belt class acts coming along, Dave.
Yeah, indeed. And it was a double for Patrick Jansen's and Dave Firmiger, because Romeo still did the business in the Steel City Cup. And it was a hat-trick for you, Tony, as well. You landed all 3 finals with selections. Let's have a look at it then. 500 metres. Brilliant sponsorship once again from Bresbet. £11,500 to the winner. I think the gym crack was 17 or £17,500. But what I really liked is if you got to the final of both, you got £2,000 straight away. So Romeo Ability, who did finish, I think, runner-up behind his kennel mate, Romeo, still bagged the £2,000 Bresbet bonus there. And Chelm's Bet, keep your eyes on track 4 here, runs a remarkable race. So Romeo still, you win around a track 3, 28.36. And this dog has become top class. Now he's putting it together out of the boxes. We know he's got massive early pace. He's becoming more consistent at the traps. He's getting a bit stronger as well coming home, which means, we're looking at a Derby dog next year for sure.
Yeah, and we touched on, we put Romeo still up outright. The thing with this dog, it didn't matter what draw he got. He was always going to probably possess the early pace to get to the front. And there was a massive overreaction to what Chelmsford did in the semi-final. There was no way Chelmsford was going to be odds on. It was just crazy price. The prices were so wrong. They had to be a lot closer together than that, because you always felt that Romeo Steele was going to be the dog to pass.
Yep.
And Chelm's Bear completely messed the start up and was always playing catch up. And Sheffield, you run out of real estate. They're not long straights. It's hard to pass dogs. He really did work into the race, but the damage was done early, and that's the beauty with Romeo still. He's got brute early pace and stays a lot better nowadays than he did early in his career.
Yeah, just a dreamy dog, really. You know, everyone wants to own an exciting Westmead Hawk coming from off the speed, but, you know, give me a top-class fast dog, consistent at the boxes and massive early, and I'll take my chance off the front every single day of the week.
Yeah, all day long, as I say. And it's not like he's a stopper. He's put up 28.36. I mean, Chelmsford just got that freak exit in the semi-finals and was always going to put up a fast time. But I think when you look at the race, he was never going to lead from the front in this final. If he would have turned closer, probably would have pegged them back. But that's ground racing.
Yeah, placement is key with these top dogs as well. And I love one of the next targets being the Classic up at Sunderland, because you think of the long straights, much like Yarmouth, really. They're quite similar tracks, Yarmouth and Sunderland, in terms of the long straights and tight turns. He's going to love it up there, isn't he?
Yeah, without a doubt, as I say. And he's a dog that he can overcome various trap draws as well. But the Chelmsford dog, I mean, Craig's getting the right tune out of him. He's got options to step him back up in distance. So he ain't going to have no headache looking at a race for him.
No, yeah, a couple of weeks off, I think, was moving in the racing post for him, and rightly so as well. He's been on the go a while, hasn't he? But as you say, Craig doing a fine job with him, so we'll look out for him. Thoughts on those finals? Then jump in the comments below. Did you find the winner anti-post? What did you make of the performances in the finals? Let us know whether you're watching us on the Racing Post YouTube channel or on the Racing Post Greyhounds Facebook page. Right, that is the look back. Now let's look ahead then. Dunstall Park. Greyhound races, Newage track inside Wolverhampton racecourse. If you've got a need for speed, the first race that we're going to preview is for you. It will be the £7,500 Arena Racing Company Scurry Gold Cup, and we've got a hell of a final. Let's have a look at an impressive semi-final winner, ground who's been over 4 bends. It's Bocco's Buster out of trap 3 here. This was semi-final number 3. Remember, right, first 2 go through. 15.62. The winning time, and Storm Shadow, or Shadow Storm, I should say, for Richard Rees, finishing second. It was the anti-post favourite. He was odds on here to score. But I mentioned the winner's got form over 4 bends, Tony, and that really showed off the second bend. Really strong performance and a quick time as well from the winner here. Very impressive. Yeah,
Yarmouth Derby finalist, and to do what he's doing against seasoned out-and-out sprinters, all credit to the dog, because as I say, you need to bring your A game when you're competing at this level in sprints. But this just shows that if you're a strong runner, you have got a chance at this Dunstall Park day. I mean, Shadow Storm, we saw him announce his arrival. He was very impressive at Toaster, first arriving on the scene. Got some decent times to his name at Hove. So this was a tremendous run from Bocco's Buster, bringing that 4 bend speed to get the job done.
Yeah, listen, when this competition kicks off, we had 6 brilliant first-round heats, and I was hoping that we was going to get Shadow Storm versus Rock'n'Roycine in the final, because I think they're the 2 fastest dogs to the corner, over 2 bends and probably 4 bends as well. They're that quick. We have got that, and it's a very competitive final. Bocco's Buster there, of course, is there on merit, having beaten one of them, so has to be a player. So let's have a look at the final then, the 8:31 on Friday night with prices as well. Longacres Lad, of course, was Tony's nap last week doing the business. 4-1 in the red jacket. Shadow Storm 7-4. Jazzy George 13-2 for Kevin Hudson. King Jackson outsider at 33-1. Rock'n'Roycine, the defending champion, and Kent Silver Salver winner 11-4. And Bocco's Buster at 7-1. Bit surprised to see the 5 not contesting favouritism.
Yeah, I can see why I would make 2 favourite, because you do feel that he's going to beat Longacres Lad to the punch going to the turn, so he could boss the inside. But this Rock'n'Roycine, I think you touched on, Dave, probably one of the fastest dogs in the country in a straight line. If he can get it right at the boxes, I think he's taken okay to the traps at Dunstall Park. I just got to be with him because he's the defending champ. It's not like he's made a mess. He's not got lost at any stage in these back-to-back wins at Dunstall Park. I just think he'll produce when it matters again and add another big competition to his name.
Yeah, the man in his corner as well is a big factor here for me, with a top trainer, Kevin Hutton, and well documented. How lightly raced this dog is because some of the issues he's had, I think, Kevin has said to me the dog's a bit wristy, he's a bit hippy, he's a bit shouldery. There's issues there. So he's a kind of treat and run dog. But they're obviously on top of him. And when we saw him down at Central Park smashing the track record in the Kent Silver Sauber final, the key to him, they've got that, Tony. So when they need to produce the big run, when they need to get him out of the boxes, they've obviously unlocked this dog. And I expect them, the same as you, to get a tune out of him again on Friday.
Yeah, he's got the old sticker on him, fragile, handled with care. And that's certainly what Kevin's doing with the dog. When you've got dogs that are wristy and they're recurring, it is sometimes difficult to take in a competition because of the quick runs. It can take its toll, but Kevin, he's a master with that type of dog. And as I say, you only need to look at Ryoko Oshin's CV to show you how talented he is.
Yeah, Kevin, Donna, and all the team. Top team. So looking forward to that. It's going to be a hell of a race. Blinken, you'll miss it. That'll be the 8:31 at Dunstall Park on Friday night. Right, we are also going to look at the Bitches Classic, the £20,000 Premier Greyhound race in Oaks final, which is also on Friday night, off time 9:04, I believe. And we're going to look at Kill West Diva for Kim Billingham here, the Monmore Raider. 28.15 out of trap one. Bruford Lady, wonderful story, Kevin. Nathan Hunt's charge here was running in A8s last year. Now she's in an Oaks final, but 1/3. And Kim Billingham a trainer that has previously won the Oaks. She knows the time of day, and this one's very lightly raced, Tony, as well, but a good performance here. Yeah,
it sort of came into the event as a bit of an unknown quantity because you looked at the Irish form. It was very patchy from Kill West Diva, but she shaped well on debut, and she's gone from strength to strength since, Dave, showing a nice bit of early pace and keeping her foot firmly on the accelerator. I think this is wide open.
Yeah.
It really is. I think, again, you can make a case for the outsider, Brightfall Lady. There's a lot to play for. You've got 2024 Empress Stakes winner Avengate Venus in the race. Butler's Lane's done nothing wrong. Rebella Bullet's still got scope. And Fabulous Aria has got a good draw on the inside. It really is a wide open contest.
And when you look at, I mentioned the Nathan Hunt pitch there. I mean, that is dreamy, right? To go from A8 to an Oaks final. That's just incredible.
And that just shows you, like, people can dip their toe in. All of a sudden you think, well, I've only got a grader. All of a sudden you watch you bitch your dog develop and think, oh, hang on, I'm in A3 now, I'm in A2, I'm in A1. Now you go on the open circuit and you're in an Oaks final.
Yeah, I can't remember the figure, but I've got 1,500 quid in my head that she was bought for, which is absolutely remarkable. But let's have a look at them then in the final. 480 metres. I mentioned it's the 9:04 at Dunstall Park on Friday night. Fabulous Aria on the inside for Patrick Janssens. Is probably due a big race success, 9-4. Briffault Lady 7-2. Kill West Diva 11-2. Ray Bella Bullet 7s. Butler's Lane 7s. And Avongate Venus at 7-2. You mentioned this wide open, Tony. Give us the winner then.
I'm going to be with Fabulous Aria on the rails. Going to have to come from just off the pace, but I like the makeup here, Dave. I think 6 might struggle to clear 5. Ray Bella Bullet might just endure a little bit of crowding early. I think 2's hit and miss at the boxes. 3's over prior. I can't believe Kill West Diva's 11-2. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, 11-2 in a place. I've just double checked that myself. Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. I'm more LF than 11-2, 11-4. But I just think one will hold her position on the inside. And by the time the leaders have sorted themselves out, I think Fabulous Aria will turn 2nd or 3rd by the sprint boxes. And now it's game on because I think she's finding her feet at the right time. And if she's on the premises going into the 3rd bend, I think she'll prove too strong, Dave.
And again, the man in the corner, right? We talk about Mark Wallace getting, his dogs out of the boxes in finals. Patrick Janssens is a capable trainer. We've just literally seen, his stars performing when it matters. And interesting about you mentioning this bitch coming to hand because, she probably came into this as, an outsider-ish, because it was all eyes on Droopy's Kathleen. But she came into it, everyone knowing that she could run. And as soon as Droopy's Kathleen went out, it was then, Strike It Sky, the favourite. But she's always been sort of in the top 5 in the betting, and now she's got a chance with her draw.
Yeah, and that is the reason. I just love the draw. I love the makeup. I think you're going to find 2 or 3 at least beaten dogs off the second bend, because they can't all lead round. I think Avongate Venus reversed the draw with Butler's Lane would have been she's a massive player anyway, but I'm just not sure she's gonna. I think she might lose a little bit of ground, having to take a wider route than she would want off that second bend, and whatever one turns in front of, I can't see getting past the Fabulous Aria. So if it gets a little bit scrappy around the first couple of bends, I think one can turn in a handy position. And I think three is the biggest danger. I think 3 can lead up the centre, and then it depends who turns in pursuit.
Right. Well, I am a massive fan and believer in dogs switching from the inside to a middle draw and it helping them out of the boxes. For whatever reason, I don't really know. I've tried to work out why, whether it be, they see the hair a little bit quicker, maybe they hear the hair a little bit better at different tracks. I don't know. But Kill West Diva, we've just seen go fastest to the semi-finals out the inside. She switches to the middle. Kim Billingham-Hine is a top trainer. She knows the time of day. I think this bitch will be spot on. The lads involved are keen as you like, Lee Wheeler and all the lads. This would bring the house down, I can assure you, if 3 does the business. And I think switching to the middle, if she goes wallop out the boxes, she was fastest last week, she'll be a tough nut to crack. I've probably watched every round that these and every race that these finalists are involved in. I thought this was really, really tough, and it was probably just the price of 3 that has landed me on the white jacket. You can get 5-1 easily. 11-2 is out there. Of the others, Ray Bella Bullet in 4, I thought shown a brilliant attitude. She looks strong. I think I'd stick her in full cast and tri-cast. She perhaps doesn't need to lead. And Avongate Venus, I think, has been staying on well. If Phil Milner can find the sort of start that we saw in the Emperor Stakes final last year, that bullet break, she'll win this, won't she? Hands down. If she goes round in front, it'll be curtains.
Oh, good night. Yeah, well, she's run over 5.75 at Romford, and she had a right purple patch when she won that Empress Stakes. She went on a right winning run, and she was breaking 29 seconds at Toaster. So if she was in front off the second bend, good night.
Yeah, massive race. Good luck to all involved. The Bitches Classic, of course, and everything that comes with it afterwards, being an Oaks winner, off to the breeding paddocks, etc. So best of luck to all involved. Lap of the track at Dunstall Park. Just quickly, Tony, our first sort of big competition. What have you made of the track now? We spoke after we'd seen a bit of grading racing. Have your thoughts changed at all now we've seen some top class racing there?
Yeah, just a shame. I'd like it to be a little bit more testing. Like you're breaking 28 seconds for 480 metres. I like a run to the turn. I know nowadays tracks are built for safety and they don't want dogs necessarily going 100 mile an hour into a turn, but I like the old Bellevue, like lovely run to the bend. Yarmouth's nice run to the turn. I do like a run to the turn, and I still think you need to be off the front here. That's the best place to be. I know people go, well, any track you run, you want to be in front, but it just reminds me of early days of Toaster-ish a little bit. But we'll see how it pans out.
All good stuff. Looking forward to it. Of course, be able to watch it live on the Premier Greyhound Racing stream and service on Friday night. So we'll put the description for the new PGR website where the stream is housed in the description below. So make sure you're tuning in on Friday night or get yourself to the tracks. It's going to be a brilliant night of racing. Right then, Tony, you're a man in form. You landed all big finals last week, landed the hat trick. Your best bet went in as well. So take the floor, my man. What's the best bet this week?
Yeah, I've gone to Dunstall Park, and obviously we don't know what's going to happen in the Oaks, but I think Kim Billingham-Hine can get on the score sheet. There's a Premier Grand Racing Standard Trophy final. I do think it's going to be a messy race because you've got Cunningham User out in track 5 who's going to be looking to blast clear and get across. But this pain barrier in track 1, the pennies dropped in recent weeks. Impressive back-to-back wins at Nottingham and at Dunstall Park in the heat. Set the standard, breaking the 28-second barrier. Like the makeup, I think he can hold his position on the inside, and the hat-trick's there for the taking, Dave. So Payne barrier in the 8:13 at Dunstall Park on Friday.
Nice. If you're following Tony, you'll be bringing the pain to those pesky bookmakers because he's on fire at the moment. Right, I'm going to go Friday night as well. Not to Dunstall Park, though. I'm going to go to Romford, and I'm going to go with the Coral Essex Vase champion, Droopy's Eunice, who's got a lovely draw tucked away on the inside. She, of course, knocked out in the Oaks last week at Dunstall Park. Returns to 6 bends. I think the change of scenery and a freshen up will certainly help her as well. I think she'll just defend the inside and be too good, too strong coming home. So she goes in the 7:44 Romford on Friday night. So 2 singles and a double then on Friday night. 1 at Dunstall Park for Tony, 1 at Romford for me. And you'll, of course, be able to watch all of that live on PGR. Right, that is it then, Tony. Another weekend of massive action on Friday night. And then we'll pause for a moment and then take in the next batch and wave of big competition. So all good stuff. Thank you as ever for your time, expertise and all your efforts, and all the winners as well. So do jump into the comments if you have been getting involved and following Tony in. You out there, we will be back next week. Remember to gamble responsibly, enjoy the Greyhound racing, particularly on Friday night, and we'll see you next time.